Hey guys, Hen here from Hobbies, and today I'm going to do a video on an in-depth review of the FTX Outlaw. Now, for the price tag, this is a pretty good truck, so let's get stuck into it. Alright, first thing first, you might have seen the box that the FTX is sitting on, and I will tell you now, this is a handcrafted, hand-built box, custom made, using a laser cutter. This was a school project and I think it turned out right, but that will be another video. In this video, we'll be going over an in-depth review, so another video, keep tuned for that if you want to know more about this, and I can even send you the DXF file if you want to cut one yourself. Right, let's get back to the car. First thing I love about this rig is what is included in the box. It is a complete RTR, meaning it is ready to run with no extra assembly needed, although you do need to supply your own AA battery for the transmitter and you need to charge up the battery for the car. Other than that, it is ready to run, ready to drive and ready to bash. The next thing I love about this car is its looks. Look how scale it looks. It's got a full interior with decals on the steering wheel and dash. It's even got GPS right there. It's got a functioning spare tire in the back that just makes it look even better. It's got a whole tubular style cage frame that even extends to underneath the car, which adds rigidity and even makes the body even stronger than normal. So that is a massive big bonus, considering how cool it looks. The tyres themselves also look really aggressive. They're rather grippy and quite soft as well. The rims also look pretty cool. The bull bar on the front, it's a nice bull bar. It's pretty solid and also adds to the looks. The only thing I don't like about this is there's nowhere to add lights anywhere really. Like, there's no place to really add lights. Those little holes there, they're too small, and there's no way to really mount a light bar on the inside. And if I were to mount one on the roof, in case of a rollover, that would be pretty much smashed. So you'd have to mount one here, or you custom 3D print a light bar to go from this hole to this hole, which I am doing at the moment. So there will be another video when that is done and attached. But overall, a very nice looking rig, very cool, very scale. Next thing I had mentioned before was the tyres. They are very aggressive looking, nice and chunky and thick, and the tread on them provides a lot of grip. They are really soft as well, and I think they have quite nice foam on the inside. The rims themselves, I reckon, look pretty sweet. They match the rig and I probably would not change them. The next thing I really like about this rig is the amount of tuning and adjustments you can do to this car. So I'll just take the body off and we can look inside. See, look here, look how many holes there are, so you can adjust the angle of your shocks and tune it to your liking. Even back here for your sway bar, for your trailing arms. There's not a whole lot up front, but there's still a little bit. One thing I do not like about this is the body posts. They're just stuck right in there, so you can't change the height of them. This is all one piece, not sure if you can see, but that's all one piece, which I don't like. And these are pretty bendy, so if you were resting the car on its roof to like do stuff on the underside, then these will end up snapping in time. But overall, a lot of tuning and adjustments can be done to this, which I really like. Next thing about this is the body. Now, I did mention how cool it looks and how strong it is, but man, does it offer some protection, like a full roll cage on the interior, which yes, I have broken and like cracked pieces, but the majority of it is strong and it keeps the internals very well protected. I rolled this down our bank, which there'll be a photo right now, and you can see how far it rolled down, and all that happened was there are a few scratches on the paintwork. Like, that crack wasn't from that. I actually do not know where that crack came from, but yeah, oh well. But overall, a very strong body and protects the internals and the electronics very well. Another bonus about this car is the suspension. This thing has surprisingly good suspension, and it's got pretty good articulation. Like, for being in stock, this is a pretty good car. Like, if the gearing was right, this would be a very capable rock crawler. Like, the only thing that's stopping it from being a rock crawler is it's too highly geared, meaning it's a lot harder to crawl and control. To go slower, it's a lot harder, because this thing was meant to go flat out and just, you know, you get the suspension flexing over. And you know, it's not meant to rock crawl. But what I did find is on the stock ESC there is actually a rock crawling mode, meaning you can activate drag brake. What that does is when you're on a hill, right, and then you stop the throttle, it won't roll back down, it will stop, which means it will like just lock in, kind of like a handbrake, but like it happens as soon as you let go of the throttle. Without that on, it'll just roll down the hill and hit who knows what. So for a rock crawler, drag brake is very vital. So if this was geared right, which I reckon you could gear it right, this would be a very capable rock crawler. The last thing that I like about this is there is a lot of room for improvement. This may sound pretty disappointing and rubbish to you, because you're like, oh well, it's supposed to be good, like why would you want room for improvement? That means more money. Well, yes, but considering it's only $300, there's always going to be room for improvement. And a lot of the electronics in this will eventually have to go. A lot of these plastic parts will eventually have to be upgraded. But that's for the next section. So, they're all the positives about this, and now let's go on to the negatives. Alright guys, now we're on to the negatives of this car. Being a $300 stock RTR car, there is of course going to be some negatives, and here is some of them. The first thing I have noticed about this is there is not much metal components in this car. So we'll take the body off and we'll have a look. I would love to see FTX change this and include more metal parts in their stock cars. The only metal I can really see is these few linkages around here, the shocks, a few of these bolts and spacer kind of things, and the internal drive shaft, and this thing over here that drives the front wheels. That is the only metal. The majority of the rest of the car is plastic. Now these front shock, I don't know what you'd call them, front shock arms, they're pretty thick plastic and they're pretty high quality from what I've seen. You can see how thick they are. I'm pretty happy with them. I have not had any problems. There's not really any scratches on them, even underneath. Like, well, there's scratches, but like not really big chunks of it taken out on rocks and stuff. Unlike the rear, which is pretty poor plastic. Like these rear trailing arms, look how thin they get there. I've snapped a few of these here. That would be one of the first things I'd replace to metal. The next thing I would replace metal would be the drive shaft. It's all plastic. I've snapped it off here a few times. So that would have to become metal, especially if you're going to upgrade to brushless. I have not checked the internal gears or anything yet, so I might have to check that in another video to see if they're metal or plastic. Another thing I would change to metal first up would be the front shock tower / body posts. The body posts, these are not adjustable, so I don't like that about them. They're bendy and I reckon they would snap pretty easy. So that's the first of the negatives about this car. The plastic components, there's too much. Now we'll get on to the next. The next thing about this car that isn't the best is the electronics. The servo, for instance, is not the best. It's slow to respond, it's not very quick, and as a result I ran into a footy post which hit the back axle and snapped off this and a few other joints. So that would be getting rid of and a new one would be put in. I think it's only a 3 kilogram servo from what I've read on the box, and so I'm hoping to get in and put a 25 kilo servo in and see what that does. The receiver, it's a pretty decent receiver from what I've seen. It's a Fly Sky, not the Xtronics that says on the box. Because on the box it says that the transmitter it comes with is an Xtronics, not a Fly Sky, and I'm kind of glad I got the Fly Sky because it is a better brand than Xtronics. But other than that, they look the exact same. But even though it is a Fly Sky and it's a good brand and stuff, I hate the antenna. Like, I've already snapped it off, as you can see, because it's just tall and long and easy to snap off. I like the stubby ones better because they're harder to break off and they're less fragile. Otherwise I'd have to package this up every time I wanted to transport it. So it's a decent transmitter, but I don't like the antenna. The ESC, as you can tell from my overheating video, which I'll put a link down in the description, it in short sucks. It's absolutely crap. I hate it, and I'm still waiting on the Hobby Wing 1060 ESC to come in before I can run this, and because it overheats, it melts the wires, it melts the plastic for the battery, and it doesn't run as good. So hopefully once with that gone and the 1060 Hobby Wing ESC in place, this will be a much better rig. So that's all for the electronics. Most of it will have to go eventually, except maybe the receiver and transmitter, but I may end up upgrading that. Motor, that will end up becoming brushless eventually, but it's good for now. Other than that, that's it for the electronics. One other thing that I forgot to mention with the receiver, it says it's waterproof, but it is not. See, it's got this hole for the wires to come through. This goes on here and then the wires come out there. This is not waterproof at all. And when I took this off for the first time, there was dust and bark and little leaves and a whole lot of other crap just built up in here that had to be blown out. So I would not trust this as being waterproof at all. So in my opinion, it is not waterproof and it should not stay waterproof. So I mean, if you're just driving through like wet dew or anything, it should be alright, but if you're driving through like muddy puddles and mud and water, then I'd be a bit careful, because this thing, although it says waterproof, it's really not. Another thing I hate about this is the body, and yes, I did say it was a good body, good scale body, but I have encountered a problem is when you're driving and you've got this at the sharpest angle and this wheel is up, I can't really do it one-handed, but it actually rubs and touches the wheel arch, and so it leaves marks on the wheel and it makes a horrible, see there, you can see the marks, that's from the tyre just at its fullest extent rubbing against this. Now that's not normally a massive issue, but when you got a crack like this, man, it sounds awful. It makes an awful grating sound as this rubs up against that, and that just farts back and forth, and it's probably going to damage it sooner or later. Bad for the tyres, and I think that's just a problem FTX didn't fully see, There's not much you can do to counter that, unfortunately, unless you wanted to try to just buy a different body and have it, but that's difficult considering they're not adjustable body posts. Another thing with the body is, you can see the grill here. If I get a body clip, if I were to push it in, they hit the back of it. You can see holes there. So I'll just push. See that? And then they jam up against that. That's a bit of a problem as well. Just ruins the body, makes it look worse. Anyway, get it out. There we go. What I tried doing was chucking them the other way, but then they're just hard to get out. So although it is scale rig, yes, it does look cool. Yes, it is a very nice looking and tough truck for the shell. There is some issues with it. So that's that for the body. Probably one of the worst things about its electronics is its battery and its charger. With the normal battery, you'll be lucky to get 15 minutes runtime. Normally it's about 10 for a 6-hour charge time on the charger it comes with. So what I've done is I've gone and bought a Tornado RC battery. I think it was a 5000 milliamp. I'm not too sure. That gives me about 30 minutes runtime with a 6-hour charge time on the standard battery. So I've also bought a SD4 balanced charger. This can charge all your lipos and nickel metal hydrates and other batteries. This is a good charger. It charges this battery, which normally takes 6 hours, in an hour 20, and it charges the standard batteries in an hour. So with these few things, you'll get a lot more runtime out of your car and a lot more bash and just a lot more fun. Although this is a ready to run, the front shocks come stock very, very soft. They need a lot thicker shock oil, and even with their shock collars the whole way down as far as they go, they're still way too soft. So I would recommend changing them out with a thicker shock oil, and I'm not sure what shock oil is originally in the FTX because it doesn't say it anywhere. So I'd probably go a 60 to 70 weight in the front, and the rear, they're pretty good. I wouldn't change them anytime soon. I haven't even got the shock collars halfway down. They're only about halfway, not fully down. Otherwise, if they were fully down, this thing would be way too stiff on the rear. So if you chuck them about halfway, they should be good, and I wouldn't change their shock oil anytime soon. Unlike these front ones, which I would change as soon as possible, especially if you're doing some high jumps, because otherwise you're just bashing right here into ground, and sooner or later you'll make a mess of it and break something. So change them, leave them. And for our last negative, this did not come with any tools at all, so I had to go through my toolbox and find tools that I already had to fit the various hexes and screws and other sizes. So it would be nice if FTX included some Allen keys and other tools to take this apart, because otherwise it's a bit of a pain. I think there's two main Allen key sizes. There's this one here. It's different to, where is it? That one there. So I think there's only two main different Allen key sizes. The body is all the smaller Allen key sizes, whereas most of the body parts are the bigger ones. Especially on the shock mounts, they're the bigger Allen key size. But other than that, this is a pretty good car out of the kit. Just if a few things were a bit different, then this thing would be one of the best $300 RC cars you could buy out there. So now we get to the big question, is it worth it? In my opinion, for all you get with $300, with its cool looks, its epic suspension, its aggressive tires, I would say yes, this thing for $300 is a pretty good deal. I have seen them getting it cheaper online, and I got this from Mischief and Mayhem Hobbies. Their details will be down below in the description. But for $300, all you get in the box, I would say it is worth it. There are many upgrades you can buy to make this thing even better. Like you can even get carbon fiber chassis, aluminium trailing arms, axles, body mounts. You can get most things, a lot of parts in aluminium, which in future I hope to get at least aluminium trailing arms and rear drive shaft. Especially if you want to upgrade to brushless, those things would be a necessity. But with all the upgrade parts out there, this thing, $300, is nearly unbeatable. So I would say, if you're at least a beginner to the hobby, or just someone who's looking for something that looks cool and can function well, both as a rock racer and a rock crawler, and that's easily upgradable, then I would say this is the thing. This thing is pretty good. Yes, be prepared to spend money on broken parts, and yes, be prepared to spend money on upgraded parts, but once you reach that level, this thing is an absolute beast. So, hope you liked the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, you can't drive if it don't break. This is Hayden here from Hobbies. See ya in my next video.